Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Emily. My daughter Grace, who is napping, is 9 months old. We make videos about being a mom, parenting, surviving, thriving, all of those things. And I make these videos not because I feel like I am an expert mom, but because I feel like I am an expert warrior and Googler, and I would love if some of the things that I worried about and Googled can be helpful to you in saving you some of the stress. And I'm super excited because today we're starting a new series on play, and specifically play that helps support your kid in their developmental needs and meets them right where they're at, and how to do it in a way that isn't overwhelming or too expensive. For a bit of backstory, our daughter Grace was born prematurely at about 3 pounds, and because of that, she's had some gross motor delays. So throughout the last 9 months, I've done a lot of research into child development and ways that I can help her to gain the skills that she needs to in order to kind of catch up with the other kids her age. And in doing that, I learned so much about child development and how we can play with our kids in a way that helps them to get different grasps or learn how to crawl or roll over, and I would love to share some of those with you. I know that also as parents we can tend to worry and feel like we're not doing enough, or we stare at our new baby and think, I have no idea what to do with you when I'm not cleaning you or feeding you or putting you down to sleep. How do I entertain this baby? And I think by better understanding what skills your kid is trying to learn at any point in their development, I think that armed with a little bit of knowledge, you can play in a way that's purposeful and helps them to gain the skills that they need in order to grow. 2 things before we dive in. 1, along my research journey, we did end up finding the Montessori method and really loved it. And so you're probably going to hear me reference a lot of things related to Montessori, but that doesn't mean that the series won't be relevant if you choose not to follow the Montessori method. I think in general with parenting methods, unlike picking a school, you can kind of pick and choose different elements that work for you and your family. So don't feel like you have to completely write this off or embrace all of the Montessori principles. You can just take inspirations from some of this video if it's helpful for you. And lastly, I'm not an occupational therapist or a physical therapist. I'm just a mom who's done a lot of Googling and a lot of time playing here on this mat with my daughter. And I hope that some of the things that we learned can help inspire you with ways you can play with your kiddo. So first things first, what is play? There's a famous quote by Maria Montessori that says, "Play is the work of the child." And I really love that, as cliche as it sounds, because it helps to put it into perspective and also helps you understand the importance of play in your child's development. Play is your baby's way of learning about their body, its capabilities, and also the world around them, and so we want to support that learning process as much as we can. An important point that I want us to keep in mind throughout this whole series is that play should always be intrinsically motivated and child-directed. This leads really nicely into our next point, which is, what is my role as the parent in play? Your role is to offer an activity or create an environment and then invite your kid to come in and partake in that activity. It's not to force them to do something. This isn't homework. It's really just to create a space where they can come in and try doing different things and see if they like them. You can totally have an understanding of the skill that you think your child should be working on, but if they aren't interested or aren't there developmentally, it doesn't matter. You can offer an activity that might be developmentally appropriate, but if they don't choose to partake, hands off. Put it away for a few weeks and then bring it back out and see if they're interested then. And sometimes there's toys or activities that I've shown Grace that she doesn't care about at all, and it's super disappointing because I maybe invested a lot of time or money in that, but that's a good time to pass it on to another kid and just keep moving on. A really practical way to implement this is to have your child's toys and activities and books laid out in a space that they can get to on their own. This is a little hard with younger babies, but once they're mobile or even just able to grab things on their own, having their toys on a shelf that they can reach or even just laid out on the ground so they can reach them helps them to take the lead and helps you to step back and remember that your role is just to watch them and follow their lead. The next thing I want to address is just the expense of buying a lot of toys and activities for your child, because this was something that was really shocking to me when I started to add it all up and realized how much we were going to spend on toys in a given year. First off, by understanding the underlying skill that your child is trying to learn and then focusing their play around that, I think it can help you to either make or gather the things that your kiddo needs to work with just from things around the house. So for example, let's say your child is trying to understand object permanence, which is basically the idea that if things go away, they still exist. You can do one of two things. You can either buy an object permanence box, or you can take an empty formula tin, cut a hole in it, and let your child drop stuff in there. Both of those help your kid to understand object permanence. One of them is basically free, one of them costs around $30. So you can see by understanding the skill your child's working on, you can actually create things to help them with that without having to necessarily buy something. Second idea. So I'm sure that you guys have been targeted for ads from all kinds of subscription boxes like QEco and Lovevery and Monty Kids. And those are really awesome because they gather all of those toys and send them to you in a way that's really easy, and the toys are beautiful and handmade. But the subscription services are also really pricey. They usually run from $200 to $300 a box, and you need 3 to 6 boxes a year. But a hack that I found, there's a lot of buy-sell groups on Facebook that resell those kits. So you can either buy them used and then resell them, or you can buy them new with a discount code and then also resell them. For us, we chose to use Monty Kids because we tend to follow the Montessori principles. And the Monty Kids usually cost around $300. But the last box that I bought it used for about $200. And once we're done using it, I can easily resell that for $200 and then reinvest that same money into buying the next level. So buying used and then reselling kits can be a really easy way to get high quality toys and just resell them and invest that money over and over. Another thing you can try is having a toy swap with another family who has a baby of a similar age. We actually just did this for the first time this week, and I posted in a local moms group saying that my baby was 9 months and we were looking to rotate some toys with another mom. And I found a mom who had a baby who was a month older than mine, and we swapped 2 of our Monty Kids toys for 2 of their KiwiCo toys, and we're gonna try to do that every other week. So that can be a really helpful and affordable way to change up the toys that your kid is working with. Not to keep going on the Facebook bandwagon, but Facebook Marketplace can be a really great place to find and buy toys. If you buy a toy used, you get it at a lower price. And even if you get a new toy, you're able to resell it. You can take that same money and reinvest it into new toys for your kid. Probably the biggest piece of advice I can give in order to keep toys more affordable is to rotate them. So now that Montessori is a little bit more mainstream, I think people are a little bit more familiar with the idea of having a toy shelf or something instead of just a big bin of toys. But you don't necessarily have to have a shelf. Just choose 6 to 8 toys to have out at any one time, and then keep the rest in a place that your child can't find them. Then you can rotate every week or every other week, and each time it's like the toy is brand new. There are 5 different types of development that we're going to be talking about throughout this video series. And I think having an understanding of where your child is at in all of these areas can help you to pick the best toys and activities for them at that time. The first area of development is gross motor development, which you can think of as doing big movements with your arms and your legs and your torso. So crawling, walking, sitting, all of those are examples of gross motor development. The next one is fine motor development, which is usually small movements with your hands. For example, picking up a Cheerio or doing a puzzle. Those are both examples of fine motor skills, and your child will progress through those. The next area is cognitive, which is basically your child's ability to learn, understand, and solve problems. We can't forget about communication, and that's your child's ability not only to speak, but also to understand and communicate in nonverbal ways, like pointing or sign language or gestures. The last area of development that we'll cover is sensory, which is basically all of the different ways that your baby receives information from the world around them through their 5 senses. Before we end this video, I want to address all the moms and dads who are watching this and just feel so overwhelmed. First off, I know, I was there, and honestly, I'm making these videos now when my child is almost 10 months, and not back when she was a newborn. Honestly, I think that those early months, especially if you're a first-time mom or dad, are really just about survival. Your child and you are learning how to eat, how to sleep, how to poop, how to do all of these things. There's going to be a lot of new stuff going on. And if right now thinking about play, and especially purposeful play, is overwhelming, I want you to hit that little red X and just go take a nap. It'll be okay. You can come back in a few months when you've had more sleep. However, if you're feeling okay and you feel like you can take something on, I think that I can break down some of these concepts in a way that feel manageable and not overwhelming, and make you feel empowered to play with your child in a way that helps their development. Okay, that's it for the intro. I'm so excited to dive into this series. I've been wanting to do it for a really long time, and I think we're gonna have a lot of fun. So see you next week. We'll be talking about newborn play, and I'm really excited. Bye.